Hello and welcome to the Startup Show, brought to you by Inc. Authority. I'm your host, Trevor Rowley. In our program, we like to address all of the topics that are of importance to small business owners and entrepreneurs. And certainly one of the biggest issues for small business owners is, how do I get people to know that I even exist? How can I get my products to market? How can I let them know the goods and services that I provide? And websites is one of the answers to that problem. To guide us through the path about how to set up a website and why it's important, please welcome to the program our special guest today, Gary Miranda. Hi, Gary.
Hey, Trevor. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks. Gary is a senior business advisor at Inc. Authority. And tell us what that means. What do you do as a senior business advisor?
So the senior business advisor role, when you first get in contact with Inc. Authority, you are provided a startup specialist, someone that's going to help you make sure you have all the information for the state, addresses, phone number, some of the basics. But once you become a client, then that's when the real customizing happens. So as a business advisor, I help you get everything finished. But once the process of getting registered with the state, getting the EIN number and the legal documents are complete, we get into the industry specific requirements. So how do I help you actually launch a business? How do I help you become successful? And that's what I get to do and analyze and come up with different solutions for how we get to that next level. How do we open? Just depending on what we're looking to do.
I think that's incredible because that's such a valuable service that I don't think a lot of people understand is provided by Inc. Authority, is that somebody who is new to the business world, new to setting up a corporation, new to setting up an LLC, none of them want to be just a transaction. They want to be somebody who's known, and they want to have the assistance and help of somebody who's been there before, who can help them avoid the pitfalls and quickly launch, grow, and scale their business. So that's pretty incredible. How long have you been doing this, Gary?
7 years. I've been 7 years, and you're absolutely right. I tell people, an LLC or corporation, it's not a license, it's a tool, and just like with any tool, I gotta teach you how to use it. So, but yeah, 7 years so far.
Awesome. So thousands and thousands of business owners have been helped by you, and you've been through this process a million times. Let me ask you this. I'm sure you talk to clients all the time who say, hey, I'm here, I've got my LLC paperwork, I've got my corporation paperwork, I'm ready to hang my shingle, but I'm really worried about people knowing that I even exist. And what are the services that you can help them, or how can you guide them to help them solve that problem?
Well, I typically ask, what is the marketing strategy? Because, some people drive for dollars, they call it. There's obviously Facebook and different things. But ever since COVID, there's been a really big shift towards the online platform, online traffic. So we talk a lot about websites. But before I even say, hey, here's this great website, I always break down the platform versus coded. Platform is a really easy website to set up, like for example, like GoDaddy or something like that, where you rent a space and you can upload a couple pictures, change the font, and you can make it look really well, or really good, I should say. But it doesn't have all the options that you need as a business owner to be able not just to set up your website, but now that I have the website, how do I market? How do I generate traffic, exposure, and get clients to my website? So that's when we get into the coded websites, and coding is just a fancy term for it's designed from scratch. It's built, there isn't a template. You build a website, and then not only do you build the website, but you also get to build the marketing, the SEO or search engine optimization, which is really what generates that traffic for you.
Yeah. So it sounds, what you're telling me is that if I make that decision to create a website, to market myself, to get my name, my business out there, that I've got a couple of different options, right? The one option you're telling me is sort of a templated service, a platform where I can buy in and kind of work like a jigsaw puzzle and try and put pieces together to make something happen, right? Yeah. Or I work with a web developer who can customize things to my specifications and have it act and look and feel exactly like I want it to. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And that's what you're saying when you talk about coded versus uncoded.
Platform, yeah.
Platform.
Absolutely. That's a perfect example. So, it works on apps, and you're able to customize it based on, do you want to make appointments? Is that an option? Or do you want an appointment scheduler on your website? Do you need a contact form? Is that the best fit for what your call to action is on your website? Or are you looking to sell products on your website? Are you looking for an actual online store, e-commerce? So you get to customize every part of it when you take the approach of more of the coded, the customized platform. Yeah.
Because if I'm talking to a new business owner who's set up their website, I think one of the first things I'm going to ask them also is, what do you want as a result of this website? What do you hope that this does for you? Where does this take you? Because in my experience, oftentimes the answer is very different from person to person. Some people are just looking for a website just to get information out there, as if it were an online business card, right?
Correct.
Just to let people know that you're there. Other people use it as a marketing tool, right? To not just let people know they're there, but to explain a little bit about who they are and what they do and how they do it. And yet, third group is out there and they want to sell online. They don't want to just have information out there. They want to transact e-commerce and sell products and even maybe have a back end that fulfills the delivery of that product. So tell me about those different types of websites, an informational website versus a marketing website versus an e-commerce website.
That's a great question, Trevor. We do have it split into 3 different categories because each website has a different call to action or what we're trying to accomplish out of our website, as you mentioned. So there's the informational based website. This is perfect for, like, I'm a landscaping company, I'm a tow truck driver, I'm a snow removal company. My website, I don't want to sell anything. I need you to call me. I need you to click here to get a free quote. I need you to fill out a contact form, and I'll call you and we can talk about your needs at your house of what I'm going to be repairing if I'm a handyman. So the informational website is perfect for that. It's really simple, but it's still advanced to any platform out there because you get to customize that portion and make sure that you're really hitting those targets of what you're trying to accomplish. The second one is marketing. A marketing website, it does everything that the informational does, but in addition, it also has an appointment scheduler built into it. It also has a logo, because if we're going to market your website, normally there's a face or something that represents your company. So we do the logo portion. It has the blog set up. Blogging is another way to generate traffic. So this is perfect. Like, let's say I'm a photographer. I want you to look through all my work, all the different projects that I've worked on. And once you decide you want to do business with me, I want you to fill out a disclosure. I want you to put yourself on my calendar, and then we're going to touch base and we're going to finish up the transaction. So that's perfect for a marketing style website. And the third option of website that we offer is the e-commerce website. So this is your online store, Amazon.com, Nike.com, where we want them to visit our website. We want them to shop and create a shopping cart that includes maybe a couple different items. Once we're ready to make a purchase, click on the shopping cart, which takes us to the next page. Verify our order, exchange information, provide a contact information, then send an invoice and complete the transaction all online. Our websites even have like API capabilities where if you wanted to do drop shipping, that would be something that we could accommodate through the e-commerce website. They're all great websites, but as you can tell, they all have a purpose on what we're trying to accomplish. And the beautiful part about this is that some people start as a marketing website, and as their business evolves, they turn into an e-commerce business, or you can start even informational and end up at e-commerce as you expand as a business.
I think that's incredible. And the value obviously is there, but I think the most important thing is really looking at where you are to begin with and what is it you need, what meets your needs right now, and building a site that meets your needs right now, knowing that it can expand as you grow as a business too, right? And I think the obvious thing also is that the informational website is probably going to be a little bit smaller and more simple in nature, right? It's probably 2 or 3 pages to accomplish the things that you want it to do. And then a marketing site's probably going to be just a few more pages than that, right? Just to get the more information, the blogs, et cetera. And then the e-commerce is going to be even bigger, right? And so each one gets a little bit more complex and a little bit larger as it goes along. Another thing that I think is really, really important to business owners that goes hand in hand with these websites is the email addresses that they use, right? And so if I'm doing business with you and I have, Trevor's Barbershop, do I want to be sending an email to my customer that's from trevor@gmail.com, or do I want it to be trevor@trevorsbarbershop.com, right? Yeah. And so 100%. Having that email address that matches my website, it adds a lot of credibility. So tell me about that. What do you do to help customers? Are you involved in the email world as well?
Yeah, with online is so competitive. With that being said, we have to do everything. That's why we do spend so much time on these websites, and we put so much thought behind them. And one of those things is having that professional email address that matches your website, because when you send out an invoice, we don't want it to be at gmail.com, for example, or if somebody has a question, they're going to want info at the name of your company.com. Your employees, if you have employees that are going to be working with you, you can have Gary at abccompany.com. So it's part of the marketing, the image, the professionalism of your website to have everything match. But all our websites that come with the professional emails, the higher, with the e-commerce typically requires more emails, so that one has 15. The informational has 5, and then you have 10 in the marketing.
Great. And so you put together this complete package. So not only are you putting the information as well as the ability to sell out there on the website itself, but the email addresses go to match, and everything starts to come together. Now, another piece of this is, okay, it's okay to have your real estate out there on the internet, right? But how are people going to find that piece of real estate? And so what do you do from the marketing perspective, SEO, directories, things like that, so people can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to marketing your website, there is no such thing as too much marketing. You have to do all of it because it's really competitive online. So SEO is the first place where we start, search engine optimization. We do that through meta titles, keywords, and descriptions. So when somebody says red shirt, blue hat, cute pants, and I sell clothes, I would want to appear on that search, and I would do that through the meta titles and descriptions of your company. When you appear in a Google search, that's Google giving you an impression. That's the term for it. The second part is it's called location marketing, and location marketing really targets your area, your zip code, your state. You get to choose that portion. But so if I'm a landscaping company and and you're in Florida, I'm here in Nevada, I can't come, give you a free quote, right? Because you're too far away from me. So with the location marketing, you can set a parameter and you can target those people in those searches. And that really helps you move up in the ranks, because if somebody says new tires near me, they're not just saying new tires, they're saying near me. So if you're in that area, you would be on that search. And that's how you cut in front of even big companies, because they didn't say who's the biggest or anything like that. It's really based on a location. So there's that portion. Then there's also reviews, there's maps, there's directories, and of course the big one, social media. You can't forget about social media. So being able to create that network and attach everything almost as a funnel back to your website, that's the key to success online.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes without saying, right? If you're going to go through the time and effort and expense of setting up the website, you want to make sure that people are able to find it, and you want it to be the right people that find it, right? The people that you can actually transact business with. And so I think the location finder, for example, super, super important. So tell me, some success stories maybe. I mean, you've worked with a lot of customers. Can you share with me some success stories where somebody was going through the process of starting a corporation or LLC and they said, hey, I'm going to take the leap, I'm going online, and what happened next for them?
Yeah, a lot of the work I do is actually taking, clients that started on a platform like Shopify, great platform, but they're to the point where I'm doing good, but how do I want to do great. I want to really take it to the next level. I'm getting, 4 or 5 leads a week, and, 2 of them were me just checking out my website. What am I doing wrong? And the answer is nothing. There's just different tools for different jobs. So a lot of the feedback that I've received is, hey, when I was first getting this started, I had a hard time getting views, and then from there creating transactions. And ever since we did this, I literally had to hire, I had to get a warehouse, I had to turn on drop shipping to be able to accommodate the amount of traffic, because now I have social media sending me clients, I have the people that I bring through my business cards in different methods, but then now I'm on Google searches. So it really takes all of the above to really be able to drive up the traffic, which then hopefully it turns into a transaction on your website. Obviously, it looks different for everybody. Sometimes hey, I'm getting more phone calls right now, and that's the exciting part. But the biggest portion is on that marketing website and on the e-commerce with the location marketing. It's a huge difference.
Yeah, and that's what I hear all the time too. In fact, I talk to business owners who, they want to try and set up the website on their own. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes they find that their success has been a little bit limited. They're a little bit capped out. Maybe that's taking time away from what they do best. If I'm a baker, for example, I should be taking time to bake the best bread out there, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm spending time trying to create my website, I'm not spending time baking and producing product. And so they kind of limit themselves in how much they can actually accomplish through their website by spreading themselves too thin. And so, the most successful business owners that I know of are the ones that understand this concept of team, bringing in experts in the field that can do all these things for them so they can focus on their talent and their skill to really make that business hum and go better. So I think that's really, really interesting. Talking about success stories, I know that you were helping a customer just recently. I think it was a trucker. You were talking about a transportation company and what they were able to accomplish with the website. Tell me about that for just a minute.
So yeah, actually it was a transportation company, but they worked in the dispatch side of things. So they provide loads of all different types to drivers. You typically go online and you search for what load is paying the best, and you call, earn the contract. So my client was just using Facebook. That was their lead generating source. They pay Facebook, but it was a very small amount of traffic. She says, her goal was to try to quit her job to be able to do her business full time, and she just couldn't do that just on Facebook. So we actually set up the informational based website, which gave her more visibility. Her dials were up, her conversations, her contact forms. She tripled her business in just a very small amount of time, and it's an ongoing process. Your website is not something you set up. You continue to perfect it as you go, and you add it, and you add things, you make it better, and it's a game changer. It really is.
I love to hear that because that's what I want for small business owners. It's hard to be a small business owner, and there's a lot of work involved, and I'd love to hear somebody that puts themselves out there, maybe does something a little bit different, gets themselves out of the comfort zone. In this particular case, they said, hey, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to put myself online, but look what it did for their business. And not only did it help them grow their business, it changed their life. And that's what we're really talking about here, because at the end of the day, entrepreneurs know that the reason that they hang their own shingle and not work for somebody else is they want something to be life-changing. They want independence. They want a future that they're in charge of and that they're building. And I think you've taught us today that websites is one of those essential tools for a business owner today that can really, really make that happen. Well, thank you for joining us today, Gary. Appreciate all the information, appreciate all the work that you're doing with business owners around the country at Inc. Authority. Again, if you need any help with a website, if you'd like to talk to somebody at Inc. Authority, give us a call. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button here. We would love for you to continue to join us and don't want you to miss any of the information or any of the programs that we're going to bring you. Our goal and our mission is to bring you information and topics that are going to help you in your business to continue to grow and scale your business and find the success that you're looking for. Thank you for joining us. This has been The Startup Show, brought to you by Inc. Authority. I'm your host, Trevor Rowley, and we'll see you next time.